am really looking forward to doing this reaction video to learn a little bit of history behind the national anthem. So let's take a look. Okay, the Star-Spangled Banner as you've never heard it.
There was a lawyer once. His name was Francis Scott Key. He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the National Anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story.
So, as a Brit living in America, I have been to baseball games and I have stood up. I have watched people sing to this. I have watched people get annoyed when the singing has not been that great. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I don't really know what it means. Hopefully by the end of this video I will. But you can feel it. You can feel the passion and how important it is to everybody around you. And when I stand up at baseball, when this happens, I watch other people, and it is really, really incredible to see.
Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners.
Okay.
They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis.
Makes sense. The British have some American prisoners. The Americans have British prisoners. Let's just do a swap. End of. That makes perfect logical sense.
Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men.
Oh, that's awful.
And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free.
That's disgusting.
He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem.
No, what?
He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis,
what does that mean? What does that mean, purely academic after tonight?
He said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth.
What?
He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet.
Oh, God.
He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort. It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort. He said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately.
Why?
And
why? So they're going to attack a fort that they know is full of women and children and innocent people, but we won't do it if you take your own flag down. That makes absolutely no sense.
We'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule.
Hey.
Francis Scott Key went down below and told the men what was about to happen. And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch.
How awful for the men locked up down below as well, not being able to do anything or even see what's happening.
As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed.
God.
He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us.
Oh my God.
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling. Every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb. And Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down. The admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees.
I have goosebumps.
The admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer, God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. The sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top.
This is incredible. So I have never heard this story before, ever, but as I'm watching this, I have goosebumps and I'm seeing where the pride for the American flag comes from. This is absolutely amazing. This is incredible.
Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits.
But they kept it up.
And when it had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly.
Wow.
Until they died.
Oh my God.
Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies. He penned the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there." Oh, say, does that Star-Spangled Banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The debt
You can
was
really
demanded.
see the pride.
The price, it was paid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light
I have got goosebumps.
so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets break through, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through
This is
the
beautiful,
night
absolutely beautiful.
that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
So the words make so much more sense to me now. Before, like I say, I just listened to it, watched other people. I had no idea this story is where it came from. I had absolutely no idea what the words meant. To be honest, I'm sat here reading these words because when it's sat, the only time I've ever really heard it is on TV or when I've been at the baseball games. You can't really, I personally couldn't really make out what was being sang at the baseball game. But, I couldn't really make out the words as well as I can here. And this is a lovely version of it. And I have a new appreciation for the American pride, for the flag, and the national anthem. So let me know in the comments as well. I will play the song to the end, but let me know in the comments. Did you know the origins of this song? Or is it just something you've always sang because it's pride, you know to sing it, you know to do it. But did you know why? Did you know that story? Let me know in the comments. I will play the song all the way through though, because it is absolutely beautiful.
Home of the brave.
Absolutely incredible. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. What an amazing video and such a powerful message, I suppose. Didn't have a clue about any of that. That was absolutely incredible. I have linked the original video in the description. I have never got goosebumps watching a YouTube video before, but I actually did get goosebumps. So because I haven't heard that story before and I didn't know what was going to happen, it kind of kept me on the edge of my seat. I feel like I was coming more forward each time. But thank you for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button, that like button, and I will see you in the next one.